And as people continue to awaken to like their true rhythms and cycles, it's very counter to what we're told and taught to believe to be true.
Yeah.
There's a lot more rest. There's a lot more slowing down. There's a lot more listening. There's a lot more being still, being with the energy. Like that's like when we talk about like life in the second paradigm, like it truly is a lifestyle.
In my head, in my mind, I'm all alone, stuck in time. But in my soul, I always know I am home. Good morning. Open the door, your soul's knocking relentlessly. You're one of God and a collective of everything. We're literally the same.
Hello. Welcome to the Second Paradigm Podcast.
Episode 3. Like
Episode
couldn't
trace.
contain myself.
You
Episode
say,
3.
Yeah. And then I say something that's weird pertaining to the episode.
Yeah.
That started to turn into our,
That's our thing.
pre-thing. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, great.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Well, in our other intro that we recorded, I talked about my Lululemon pants.
Yep.
And I was extremely excited about them.
Mm-hmm.
And how I feel like this is a new iteration of me. And this
Yeah.
iteration of me wears Lululemon and a Scotch and soda sweatshirt, which I feel excited about.
You're rich as fuck. That's probably why, right?
Great. I don't know. I do feel better in Scotch and soda clothes.
Because
they
they
fit me well.
fit you. I
Mhm.
think that's like number
Yeah.
one.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if these were super cheap, I would still wear them, but they're just so high quality. I love them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
I know.
I love wearing things, being in things, and having
Mhm.
experiences and building a life that I actually want.
Yes.
It is so incredible.
Opulence is your natural vibration.
Yes, I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. I feel significantly
Yeah.
better.
Oh my God. You're a completely different person.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But I so often try to convince myself that like the clothes that I don't really like are actually okay.
I
you
know.
It's
I
so
know.
funny. I play this game with myself. But in
It's
the
all
end,
good.
I mean, I end up in
Yes.
nice Lululemon sweatpants that feel incredible. I've never had pants that feel like this.
Mm-hmm.
And a sweatshirt that I really like with
Yeah.
a hood and these little buttons.
I know. And it's
Cool.
colorful. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm. I like it too.
Thank you.
I know. As soon as we saw it, I was like, oh, I like that.
I think you might have picked these up.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. I just kept throwing you clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, how do you feel in your relaxed outfit?
Well,
Do you feel a little lazy?
a little lazy.
Lazy?
Laziness.
Laziness.
From Low German Lastic. I think that's how you say it. Just kind of bullshitting on the accent a little bit. Lastic.
What is lazy? What does lazy mean? What's the
Idle.
idle?
There's also this thing that's like languish,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I think
my
is really
whole
interesting.
Nail polish just came off
Wow.
in one whole piece.
Wow. It's just time for a new nail iteration.
Wow. Okay. Well.
You know, so often our lives are like that.
Yeah,
Just a
it's
whole thing
I
just pops
shed-
off in
shed
one
a whole
piece.
skin.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And then it feels a little bare. But really, it's just prepping you for a whole new iteration
I guess
for
a new
all of the
color
nails.
needs to come on.
Mhm.
Yeah, because when I put my pants on, this one chipped off, and I was like, "What the hell?" So yeah, okay.
I love it. I love that we speak in this language, and I'm kind of joking, but
Yeah.
you're like just rolling with it.
Oh,
You're like,
yeah.
oh no,
Well,
this is
it's
very
true.
serious.
Yeah.
It's true.
I must be needing a new color. Mhm.
Yeah. This is the real as above, so below. This is the stuff that I love. It's like the little things that are perfect metaphors for larger
Yeah.
life, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there's also an energetic element translating into the physicality that we know as reality.
Always.
Always. In all ways,
Oh, God.
in all directions, all times, all
I thought you were
ways.
going to say in always and always. I don't really like that. It's
Huh?
like in all ways and always.
Oh,
and in all.
I did.
I
kind of.
know. I thought you were going to go right for the thing, but then you made it more poetic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, you know me.
I know.
I've actually been writing some poetry.
Have you?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
I performed them for you. I'm not sure if we're going to put them in this podcast. I don't think so, not yet, because I don't think
Oh,
we'll have
funny.
performed them yet.
Oh, no, not this podcast.
You know, not this podcast. But I do think at some point I would love to put some of the poetry
Yeah.
in the podcast. We'll
I
just
think
be
it'd
like,
be
all right,
cool.
we're going to clip it in here.
Yes.
And if we have one, we would, but we don't quite yet.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I do have a piece that I wrote for the Second Paradigm Collective,
Oh, yeah.
which I haven't shared with you yet.
No,
so maybe
not-
we'll shoot a little thing
Okay.
after this or something.
Should
'cause
we
I need
shoot
my
like a
phone.
music video?
I don't know. You're going to make it so cheesy. I'm going to get big chains and like a clock or
Yeah,
something around my
yeah.
neck and put on a bandana.
Sure.
Or I'll just wear this.
Your lazy clothes.
Yeah, my lazy clothes.
Let's talk about being lazy.
Okay, we can talk about being lazy. What about being lazy?
It just seems like super up right now for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Or like the fear of being lazy and not doing anything and then dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love looking up the etymology of words because I get a bigger landscape of what it is, like without a charge. Because laziness has a lot of charge. Laziness just means you're a bad person and you're doing nothing and you're going to die and you're unproductive. But when I actually look at the roots of the words, like where they come from, I get the same meaning, but they're like synonyms and I can kind of break down the word. So lazy, I mean, lasik has no charge for me whatsoever. I'm like, okay, this old German word.
Kind of reminded me of LASIK.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, which I also want.
Yes.
I'll have 2020 in 2020.
Yes.
It's a Marquez Brown little thing.
Yes.
Which I'm so on board with.
I love that.
But there's something about lasik breaking down words into that. And lasik translates to idle or languish. And I don't entirely know the definition of languish, but when I think of languishing in something, isn't that like, it almost feels like kind of sultry or like thoroughly enjoying something, which I just find so fascinating. I might just be totally mixed up on that word, but even just idle.
No idea.
Idle, like a car sitting and idling, it's just not doing anything.
Yeah.
And this idea that we have to do something all the time is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Do you remember when we went to Tulum? Obviously you do. But people weren't doing nearly as much as we do here. And the expectations to be on and to be doing something and to be working were so much less than they are here. I think it's literally a United States thing or a Western world thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I just think of like the factory workers and that whole world, that whole like industry infrastructure of like producing something, and now we have robots that do all that stuff.
You're getting there for sure. Yeah.
Or a lot of it. But now we oh my God, I almost said the same thing twice. I'm stuck on a loop.
We have robots.
Just stuck in a loop. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, and same, the school system is built the same way. The school system is built to breed factory workers. But that's just not the world that we're living in anymore.
Yeah.
So I think like, and as people continue to awaken to like their true rhythms and cycles, it's very counter to what we're told and taught to believe to be true.
Yeah.
There's a lot more rest. There's a lot more slowing down. There's a lot more listening. There's a lot more being still, being with the energy. Like that's like when we talk about like life in the second paradigm, like it truly is a lifestyle. Like I know we say that, but or like I don't know if we've said that. Have we said that? Who knows?
Say that, yeah, for sure.
Well, I've said it. It truly is a lifestyle, and I think that's just what it is. It's like it's lazy as fuck, and I'm so okay with it. I'm so like it just makes so much more sense to me. And like never have I been steered wrong by resting more. Like I think that's why I got a fucking concussion on your birthday weekend, whatever year that was, 2017. Dunk, completely concussed.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, like right after you quit your job, right?
It was later. It was much later. I left my job in February and that was in July.
Yeah, but right after you left your job. I mean, that's not that far after.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild to like a few months after you quit your job to then get a concussion and we moved to Mexico. It's wild.
Yeah, that's true. And that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember this, I think this whole message and everything, you were getting a lot in Tulum. This whole idea about being lazy and not being able to work or slowing down.
Yeah.
And that's when you first started to get all of your slowing down messages.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm just not meant to work. And I was still in like grind marketing
Yeah,
mode. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm working double time.
Yeah,
I'm picking up both shifts over here.
Yeah, and you did. And I couldn't do anything. I did art a little bit towards like the end, the middle/end. But it was hard to like be on my phone. It was hard to like even write in my journal. And then we lived near construction because Tulum is just construction central. It's like being built up so much. So yeah, that didn't help. All the pounding and stuff. So fascinating. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I still get it today. Like, I still, when I check in, I get the message often to like do less. And I'm like, oh my God, that's terrifying. I feel like I already do nothing. How can I do even less?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our internal definition of nothing, I think, as human beings, is far above actually nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, obviously, we don't factor in breathing into doing something, or like our heart beating into doing something. Or I think most people don't factor in landing huge new energetics of their embodiment, of the things that they're calling in into something.
Yeah. Well, because you can't see it. I think that's the thing. Like, like I was just messaging a friend on Instagram yesterday, and she was asking like what's new or something like that. And I was like, oh, I just feel like a lot behind the scenes. Like, it's so behind the scenes that I don't even know what it is. Like, I can't even speak to it, but I can feel it. I can feel the new energetics landing. I can feel new, like new something, but I don't have the words for it. I don't know what it is. I don't really care. I don't need to know right now. Like, it's like, I just know
my thing.
What's that?
That's more my thing.
Yeah,
I always need to know.
I know you need to like figure it out.
I just like frantically ask, help me understand everything that's going on with me.
What's happening? I know, but that's really helpful. It's really helpful. And yeah, and like, it's okay too to not know and just trust that.
Totally.
You're like, oh yeah, that's what's happening here. Like, it's all good.
Yeah, it's so interesting. On some of our like business chats, or in, I don't know, in some of our different chats, the energetic that comes through is very like, boom, it's like piercing. It's like, stop fucking doing this bullshit. This weird marketing, there's this like ferocity to it. But here there's this like deep tenderness and slowness. It feels like the energy wants to like unravel and unpack in a way that's like just, it's almost like this underlying message is like, hey, everyone, we want to let you know that you're doing okay. Like, you can rest, you can watch Netflix, the phone games you play, like, everyone does it. The Oreos you're eating, everyone does it. That's why they still sell. Like all of the things that we've written off as bad and wrong, and even more so in spiritual and personal development communities. Like, it's okay to be a human being, to watch Netflix, to snuggle up, and to do nothing. When in actuality, we're doing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I can't remember where you talked about this, but even like when you are in those moments of like watching Netflix or going down a YouTube rabbit hole, like, it's all leading you somewhere. You know, it's all to create some sort of purpose and some sort of like opening or connection to something that you need to hear. Like, if we believe that all of this is truly a divine orchestration, then why would that be any different? So yeah.
It's funny how these little pockets of belief that keep us from just being ourselves and following the energy of our soul's truth all the time. Because ideally, right, that's the message. And we can say that over and over and over again. But it's these pockets that we almost have to go into and penetrate with like the perfect little energetic key. And go, hey, not only can you be yourself in the entirety of your life and your purpose and your career, but like also in your relationships, and also when you're sitting at home by yourself and doing nothing, like you can do that too. It feels like we're like picking the locks to reality to essentially just liberate or create an opportunity for liberation so that people can just be themselves. And so we can be ourselves. Even these topics are so helpful, you know? Like, I play way too much solitaire these days. Way too much.
I was like, what are you working on? He's like, my high score in solitaire. I was like, oh, okay. You were so focused. I thought you were writing something.
It's funny.
Awesome.
It's just, there's just times where I even stay up really late, and I like should be sleeping, and I should be waking up earlier so that I can be more productive, so that we can make more money, so that I don't die. Like, all of these things play out, but sometimes the energies keep me up really late at night, and other times like I sleep for really long, you know? It's just what's here. And if we can just ride the energy of what's here, we're always good. Always good.
There's like an acceptance of the reality, an acceptance of what's here. Which can be really challenging. I think that's another thing that creates the struggle. I talked about it on Instagram the other day of like not choosing, like not making a decision is such a point of pain and struggle. But I think not listening to the energy or accepting the current reality, that also is a place of pain and tension. And
Yeah, not accepting the current reality. Because what are the other options, really, other than being lazy and being terrible? I mean, we could stress out the whole time and still rest.
Yeah.
But that's not actually rest. That's just stressing out.
Right.
That's just
laying down, stressed out.
Yeah. That's just laying down and having like a
biting off all your nails.
Adrenaline bath. Or we can force ourselves to do something that's not going to actually move our lives forward in any tangible way.
Yeah.
And there's some things we could always do, admin or like little things that we could convince ourselves is the only time that we're going to be able to do those things, or like we're so far behind in all of those things. But I've never moved my life forward in a substantial way by cranking through while I'm needing to be resting. Often things are just way harder. I don't get actually much done. And the work that I do is so subpar that I end up like redoing it anyway.
Totally. Yeah, it feels important to acknowledge what we talked about the other day. You and I were talking about it, following the energy versus following the money. Because like the money will, or the energy, if you follow the energy, that will always lead to the money. Like, so if you're riding this wave, this energetic wave of resting and watching Netflix and like, and then all of a sudden you like watch, I don't know, Good Will Hunting,
Great movie.
for example. And then you get inspired in like a whole different way and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you have a new offering to offer people out in the world, or I don't know. It just feels like when you're riding those waves and listening and just doing whatever the fuck you want to do, like you're good. Like the money will show up. It always does. Like when has it not? And in those moments when it hasn't, like what else is there? Because there's another thing that's happening that's playing out. And then you're like, oh, damn it. And like, I think in those moments, it's to know that you're still always taken care of and supported. Like I go back so often to thinking about living in Massachusetts with my mom for those 9 months. I knew that we were always taken care of and supported. Like I knew that as like a concept, but then I actually got to live it, living under her roof, knowing she would never kick us out, even though I had moments of like, she's really triggered. Is she going to ask us to leave? Because we have nowhere to go. But yeah, just feels important to follow the energy and just trust, like when you're being called to rest and like be lazy, like it's for a greater purpose. And like if you're not listening to that and you're like, oh man, I'm exhausted, I know I need to rest, but I just need to do these 8 million other things before I rest and then I'll rest, you'll get knocked on your ass. Like you'll get a cold, something will happen, you'll break your fucking toe, like something will happen that'll lay you out, and like that sucks. But if that's how you need to if that's how like the universe needs to get through to you, then it will. It'll boink you right in the head.
Yeah. Man, this larger context is just so helpful. It's so helpful that I feel like we come to all these conclusions because we like settle into something bigger, into this bigger picture. We're like, oh, like it doesn't matter if we're laying, like there has to be some sort of reason why we're being led into this. Yeah. There has to be some sort of reason why our soul is nudging us to do nothing. Yeah. And when we check in and ask, hey, I really want to work. Yeah. The messages are like, it's not time. Not right now. Yeah. There's nothing new to do. And that's infuriating when the message is to do nothing. Yeah. But there's a very tangible reason for that. And I feel it happening real time. This is so up right now for me in wanting to bring through the Second Paradigm Collective, our membership group. There's this sense of really wanting to have everything. Well, I just mean there's just this sense internally of me wanting to have everything done and out. And there's still pieces of me that kind of scramble. And they're like, okay, like I really want to get this out. So I need to do all this work right now and then get it out as quickly as possible. But if I really follow the energy, it's not doing that. Yeah. Which is so confronting and so confusing. But when I watch my own transformation over the past 3 or 4 days even, and the things that have come up and the conversations that we've had, each other and others, there's this really big version of me that is landing. Like I'm becoming radically different. The level of clarity that I have internally around this program and around this like continual channel night thing that we're doing, and even around the other program that we were trying to launch and trying to get going, is just phenomenal. Like we could have launched this and it would have been good, but there's so many like densely packed lessons in there. And when I zoom out from the soul perspective, I'm like, oh, of course I need to land this now. Because of course I can get this program up quick, put it out, and still attract the people that are meant to be in this. Of course that can happen. But in the long term, in who we're really becoming, is it useful to land some of these embodiments now, or to just get all of the work as much as we can and then play energetic catch up? Like, is that really the game I want to be playing? Is energetic catch up to these huge iterations of me that I can't actually sustain? And then I'm like feeling just energetically drained and pushed to the edge all the time. I don't want to live that life. And I don't think my soul wants that, nor does any of the guidance that we're receiving want that. They want us to become these versions of ourselves so that we can step into these lives with ease.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not sustainable, in my opinion. Catching up on anything is like a recipe for burnout. There's nothing to catch up on. You're caught up. You're good.
Except for a burger.
Catch up on a burger. Is that your joke?
Yeah, that was my dad joke.
That was good. That was good. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Obviously. Hello.
What are you feeling?
I'm feeling like I definitely don't want to do another hour and 20-minute episode again.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I want them to be like 40 to 60. That's what I was thinking in the shower.
Yeah.
Digestible bites.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the collective. Like, that feels the most like lit up to me when I was like feeling into like either launching another program that's entirely different, or doing the collective, or doing both, however we were deciding it. The collective just kept lighting up because it feels like a true place where we can foster community and be in these conversations all the time, like back and forth, and not just with each other. And like it just feels like so like rich, like nutrient, rich as fuck. It just feels really good. Like it just feels like warm and warm and cozy, and like it's like meaty and comprehensive, and like there's just, you can either like be in it and scroll and like not participate at all, or you can be like fully engaged, and like no matter what that looks like, knowing that like there is something out there where like you can truly be, and like be in these spaces with us and receive these activations in a container, in like an actual place, because there's only so much on the, like we can feel it, you know, there's only so much you can really speak into on the podcast that's like going out everywhere. And then as the containers are, they just get like, there's like a solidity that happens or something. There's a potency. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel, it feels like really fun. And I love cultivating community, and I have like a real desire that's like getting stronger and stronger to like have in-person community, and like to host a retreat here in Seattle, and like all of that. Like I would love that. Like
the community element's awesome. It made me think of our Facebook group that we currently have for our How to Promote Your Soul to CEO. There's so much engagement there, not even with us. Like I'll comment on things and I'll like write what I'm getting and all of that. But there's this like back and forth with everyone
they're all in it.
Yeah, they're all in it with each other, and like celebrating and sharing their dreams, and sharing like dreams both metaphorically and literally.
Actual dreams,
Just all sorts of engagement happens there that just feels so unique and so rich, and it's cool to be able to create something where that is the norm, and it's ongoing, and it's not just 7 weeks. I feel a lot of energy behind it too. So those of you listening know the collective is a membership community, and we're doing monthly channel nights.
Oh my God, I'm really excited about that. It originally started as quarterly, and then I was like, David, how do you feel about monthly?
I was like, I'm willing to do it. I was like, I just want to make sure. I did sit for it with a bit, because I want to make sure that all of our other containers are in integrity with that. But it just is. the messages that come through and the intensity and the potency and all of that, and even just the types of messages that come through are also tailored for all the containers.
Different.
I could channel 10 times in a smaller container, and then the one channeling that comes through in the bigger mastermind or whatever that is still pushes forward the people in the mastermind further than any of those 10 would if those same people were to be in it. Like there's this sorting mechanism that happens between all of our containers, but to be able to channel monthly feels really, really good.
Yeah.
Because the messages that come through are always so fun and interesting, fascinating. It feels like, I mean, you talked about this, the channel nights coming through. It feels like next waves of even like the next book on creation and manifestation and all of that. So much of the seeds of the bigger channeled works end up coming through in those smaller settings. And there's everything from like the mind stuff to like, oh, I'm really curious about reality, to the energetic stuff of like, holy crap, I feel this energetic here. Like, what is this? What does this bring up in me? And like, what's this calling me into? And I feel this like soul and etheric, like contact stuff happening. And I feel my intuition coming online more. There's so many layers that happen in the channel nights. So yeah, I was excited to do that monthly. And then
I love that.
What else do we have in this group? Oh, all of the documents.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good to have a place to put all of these documents.
Yeah.
Because so many little channeled messages want to come through that are just like these like tight packaged things. And that's actually where this topic first came up, because we talked about laziness and I was like, oh my God, there's a doc on laziness. So I think the full channeled message that'll come through from B on laziness and unpacking productivity and work and what that looks like and being lazy and the etymology. I'm sure it'll dive into a bunch of things that will be in the collective.
Yeah.
And docs like that.
Yeah, that feels good. It feels good for them to have a home. Meditations produced by you and Jay.
Yeah.
Or Bergale and Jay.
Yeah.
B and J.
So I've been recording these meditate B and J. The BJ meditations.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Yes. Oh, that's so funny. I want to make so many jokes. But the But these meditations are cool. Jamin produces tracks in 432, and he produced our podcast song.
Yeah.
In my head, in my mind. And then I wrote the lyrics, and we sang the song together, and I wrote the rap and performed that, and we performed that live with Jay on Skype, and then he mixed everything down. So one day a meditation came through, and he was like, hey, are you getting anything on this? He was like curious about something. And I was like, oh, there's a whole meditation coming through. Like, see if you want to produce it. I'm kind of feeling an opening. Let's see. And he ended up getting it and sent it back a couple of days later, and it's cool.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's really good.
It sounds really good. There's like this cool kind of like echo, like pulled out sense of it too, and there's binaural beats behind it. So there's that like that's happening kind of in the background. Oh, that was a pretty good noise.
Yeah, it was good.
That is happening, and the meditations that come through are really, really cool.
Yeah.
So we're producing those, and those have a home there. So we get to give kind of Jay a cut of the collective, and he gets to kind of help co-produce some of the content that's there. It's really, really cool how this is all coming together, and it's almost like the community that we're building to like facilitate this and to bring through these messages, and watching our lives expand, and even the editor that we had and will get for this podcast. Chuck. Where I thought Chuck was our cameraman, but maybe he'll be an editor too.
Oh yeah, I guess they're different roles, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need a Edward.
Okay.
Chuck the cameraman and Edward the editor.
Okay, got it.
Totally lost my train of thought. Just vanished entirely. But there's a lot of really cool things that we're excited to be able to produce and put into the collective, and it's cool feeling our lives expand to be able to support it.
Yeah, and I want all the people in the collective to have discounts on all of our programs and be the first to know about everything that we're offering. And even just the other day, I was making Art of Truth outside. If you don't know what that is, it's your soul's essence channeled into pastels. No big deal. They're just remarkable. And they are.
Yeah, they are remarkable.
There's always a story every time.
Yes, Queen, love the confidence.
Yes, Queen. They are. I mean,
yeah, they are incredible.
They're just amazing. They like have like whole like lives of their own. They're totally alive.
So you channel the essence of the individual soul into colors and pastels, pile them on a piece of like colored paper, essentially take pictures and then print it on canvas.
Yes.
Super
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, see, words, context, David. I'm just like, oh, you guys just need
art of truth.
you just know what it is. You just feel it and you know, which is true. So yeah, those I haven't touched for a long time. And then I just started doing them and I was like, wow, it just feels so good. So yeah, so I imagine offering those two in the collective for 50% off. I have no idea what the pricing is on them, the new pricing. But I was like, that was all I was getting. It was like, yeah, in the collective for 50% off. I was like, oh, that's cool.
They'll be 50% off of a price that you'll get soon.
Yeah, of a price we don't know what it is yet, but you'll be the first to know that too. So when it lands, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just feels fun to put things like
this.
that in there, and even light language activations and all of that stuff. I haven't done anything like that. I did a light language course last year living at my mom's, but other than that, I haven't really done anything with light language. It still comes through, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, I just, maybe aspects of it are just for me, and then I also feel like a desire to share because I know that it's healing and activating and it's helpful. And I feel like we both have a lot of gifts to share.
Yeah.
Just even like in this podcast, like I can feel that like there's people out there that it just feels really safe and like really familiar and like home. Like it's like, oh my God, it feels so good.
Good morning.
Good morning. Open the door, your soul's knocking relentlessly.
You want a God and a collective of everything. We're literally the same matter as the trees, the stars, the breeze,
The
the
soul
all we breathe.
breathe.
The only truth is interconnectedness.
Separation is only
Forgetfulness. We come to this grounded existence, led by soul, where the world stands witness, 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 witness.
Good job. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes in another chorus.
Yeah. I was like, is that where it ends? It ends on witness.
And then I sing the like alternative chorus.
Oh, yeah. At the
That's
very,
kind of
very
like
end.
echoed out of it.
Yes.
Oh, man. I love that track. We're just committed. Just kept going.
Yeah, I know. You really went for it. I was like, okay. So yeah, it just, I can feel that this feels like really good and helpful. So in any way that I can continue to help people in this like really grounded way, like there's just so much noise out there and I get so irritated and I'm like, oh my God, that person's helping people. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see them shortly unwinding those programs.
Yeah, and it's
definitely, I'm definitely judgmental. I mean, I don't know if that makes me less spiritual, but I think it makes me more spiritual
it
than
helps
I'm
us
honest
refine
about
who we
it.
actually are. I think judgments are a normal part of society. They're literally hardwired
I
into
know,
our
it's
evolutionary
helpful.
biology.
It's helpful to be like, oh yeah, no, or it's like, ooh, yes, because isn't yes a judgment as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I judge that to be so.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
And the early hominid species, like the first things that started to emerge were gossip. You see apes gossip about each other. That's how they preserve their social hierarchies. That's how they move forward their evolution in a totally different way. Because it's not just biological.
You're just like,
I just keep going. Yeah. Because it's not
brain.
just biological. They also have a social element too.
Yes.
And we have that as well. We are apes. Which is wild. Still blows my mind every time I think about it. Like, hey, body.
I know. That is weird. Well, we watched Planet Earth. The city one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, Planet Earth 2 on Netflix, episode 5 or 6 is called Cities.
I love that you remember that.
It is really cool.
Yeah. It was so intense.
I think it's 6.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. They'll see it.
You'll see it. It says
Cities.
cities. And it's really good. I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
But oh my
I thought it was going to be
gosh.
cockroaches and like rats.
Oh, I didn't really even know. I actually thought it had nothing to do with animals and it was just going to be cities.
Oh, like humans and stuff. Yeah. It was animals in cities.
Yeah.
Like in New York, and the pigeons and the what the falcon?
Yeah, falcon.
Not perennial falcon. It's not a bush.
Oh, no. I forget though.
They bloom twice a year. You
Perennial
have to replant them.
Yeah, that was a cool story. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really, really cool stuff in there.
So yeah,
But
it was weird to see the monkeys and see how much we look like them still.
Yes,
I'm like, oh,
it
this is
really wild.
Bizarre.
So this is actually perfectly transitions, as always. That's what I was going to say when you were talking about the like, oh no, like that's like, what are they doing? Like, how are they teaching people? When I think about our long-term evolution as a species, just in society too. I look back and like, obviously, if you go back to when hominids were like first coming together and like 60,000 years ago, and they're like banging rocks on shit to like smash up the berries. I don't know,
Yep.
you know, whatever.
Yeah.
This stuff, even the things that we judge the most are revolutionary. They make life so much better. I mean, these spiritual teachings and understandings, they were not even close to formulated as thoughts. But we're moving into a space where I think we're constantly checking in, constantly refining. What is the second paradigm? What does it look like to be really grounded here, plugged in? And I think we're starting to get to a place where we're starting to just push off of the things that are helpful but aren't as true. It's all of the pieces outside of the truth that I think you're like have these intense reactions to. Because if you look at the bulk of what they're doing, 80-90% of it is great. They're like, all right, cut cords, like clear your energetic, make sure you're good. But then they're like, also do this, this, and this. And you're like, whoa, like, no.
I know.
That's not true.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
my truth sniffer.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And I think those judgments, as much as they're like reflections of me, which I don't believe, I think they help us to push off of the thing. It's literally the things that every single coach and spiritual teacher says at the beginning of every event. I just want you to feel into what's here, take what works for you, and leave the rest. That's literally, they're saying, please make your own judgments about the material that I'm about to present.
Yeah.
And the things that you judge as wrong for you or that you disagree with, leave on the table.
Yeah.
Just assume that that's either my shit or something that doesn't apply to you. And everything that does apply to you, take it, use it. That's why you're here. Like, enjoy the gifts. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. There's a lot there.
I know. I feel that. I'm like, oh, this is a topic for days. But yes.
But I do think about this I love this name. You came up with the name. I sat with names for so long.
Oh my God.
And you're so quick. And you just bring it through, you know? I get all brainy about it. And I started overthinking it.
I'm
and
like,
I make hundreds of names.
Hundreds, folks.
Hundreds of names.
And I was like, oh, it's collective.
You said, you didn't even say it like that. You were just like, what about collective? And I'm like, oh my God.
Well,
that's
internally it was, oh, it's
good.
collective. And then it was
It's
like,
so
oh,
good,
ask it as a
Miriam.
question. Because sometimes, you know, sometimes I get it like quick in the thing, but sometimes it's like, oh, maybe I'll ask it as a question. It'll be a little softer. I won't be so as intense about it. But it comes in as like, it's collective.
Yeah. It is so spot on with the energetic.
Yeah, well,
that's what I'm trying to do with all of the
song.
things. That's how I channel. You know, I bring things through, and then I feel the intricacies of the energetic, and I sit in it. But I didn't have that word. I didn't think of it, and
livers.
You pulled it right through.
You were
I know.
thesaurusing livers.
I was thesaurusing livers.
Second paradigm livers.
Those who live in the second paradigm synonyms.
Livers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, collective. I know. I love it too.
The reason why I love it is because we're calling in the collective of the second paradigm.
Yes.
Our people, the people who are resonating with this truth, who are resonating with this wave of information, with these really specific things. Because there are lots of people who do make those judgments and they're like, oh, this involves that channeling phenomena. I'm a no. You know, and this is obviously, they're not a part of this. Second
they're probably not even listening to this podcast.
Totally. They're like, that guy is crazy, absolutely batshit crazy. I got to stay away from everything so I do not become unstable. But then there are the people who are like, oh my God, that guy's channeling and I really resonate. Oh my God, I feel it. Not only is he channeling, but I feel the energy that comes through. This is amazing.
Yes.
This is the same thing I'm trying to live and embody in my own life. He's putting words to it. Like, wow, that's really cool. Miriam is like, she feels like she is it and she's holding it down. And when I'm around her, I just feel so comfortable and I feel so much permission to be me and to radiate my own true essence. And I'm more myself with Miriam than I am with anyone else. That's so weird. I don't even know her. I've sent her 3 Instagram messages. That's our collective.
That's true.
And those are the people that we're calling in, the second paradigm collective. Oh, it's so good. I do love it. And here we are lazy.
Yeah. You can be as lazy as you want.
When it's time.
Yeah.
To be idle.
Yeah.
Lashik.
Exactly. Yeah. All the permission in the world to trust yourself. That's really what it's about. It's not about being lazy or productive. It's just either don't fucking matter.
You're so good at that.
It's just about just trusting what's here all the way through and not making yourself wrong for it. And when you do make yourself wrong for it, notice like, oh shit, I'm making myself wrong for this. Okay. Moving on.
it is such a simple concept, but for me, it's so it's so difficult. It's so difficult to notice all the places where I'm just not allowing myself to be myself. They're just total blind spots, and you literally make it look so easy.
Oh.
You just sit in it, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm just me, and like I don't really know how to be anything else. Like I guess I used to in some ways, but like you're just kind of like chilling, and you're you, and you're getting better and better at like teaching and embodying it and like radiating it out, and your art and all of these outlets. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I love who you are and the permission that you give people to be. That's why I love doing this business with you. That's why I could never do this by myself. This business would just be a frantic mess if it was just me. I can articulate some stuff. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Like, but I got to be able to land and embody it. And I think that's where like together we are a powerhouse.
Yeah,
powerhouse.
It feels good. It feels really easy. Thanks for acknowledging me in that way.
Absolutely.
It feels really good.
Absolutely. I also wrote a poem about you. I read it to you.
I know, I cried.
I'm going to perform it on stage, and then you'll hear it. Because I think Miriam will record it on stage. It'll be shaky. She'll be crying.
I know. Wiping my tears. I know. And I already don't have a steady hand. Maybe we need a...
we have 2 tripods right here.
That's true.
We can maybe bring one.
Oh, I was going to think
cheesy?
we could... No. Who cares?
Yeah.
We could get... What are those things called? The dongles?
A gimbal.
A gimbal. What's a dongle? Is a dongle anything?
A dongle is like the thing that sticks out of the iPhone that you plug in your headphones in. It's a headphone dongle.
That's a dongle.
I think.
Okay.
People say that.
Okay, yeah. Oh, a gimbal.
Gimbal.
Yeah.
I guess it's a really big dongle, maybe. I don't know what the word actually means.
No.
Dongle accessory?
I don't know what dongle
I don't know.
means.
I'm going to have to look up the etymology later.
Awesome.
Yeah, this feels great.
Thanks for saying that.
I think I'm going to post the Second Paradigm Collective poem as a bonus episode right above this.
Cool. That's
so
awesome.
You probably already know. You might have even watched it first.
Oh, yeah.
If you're here listening to this. But
you
real time, this decision's being made.
Yeah, and you heard it before me.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
I'll perform it for you.
Okay.
And we'll record it.
We'll record my reaction?
We'll record me performing it for you on this couch right here.
Okay.
And that'll be a little bonus episode. Ooh,
awesome.
That'd be cool.
Do you want it after this?
Yeah. I thought it was going to, but I like having it. It's like its own separate thing.
Okay.
I was feeling the energy.
No, I mean after like we post this and then we post that. Or no?
Yes. Yeah. It just shows on top if we post it after.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So maybe I'll post it before. Regardless, it's going to be there. It's going to say bonus episode, the Second Paradigm Collective.
Details.
Poetry or spoken word or something.
Spoken word. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I do want you to be able to know if you're listening to this and this is just resonating and you're like, they haven't said the website or anything about this, that you can go to thesecondparadigm.com/lifestyle. It's the same page where the channel doc is, and you can click on the thing. It just says collective there. I do want to let you know because I know that there's some people that are like, guys, you didn't tell us
anything.
We are so in. We are the Second Paradigm Collective. I'm resonating in every single word that you say, and you didn't tell us where to go.
That's true. Good call.
Yeah.
And we'll have it in the description too.
Yeah, we'll have it in the description for sure. Make it clickable.
Yeah, Edward and Chuck do the description.
Yeah, throw it in. AKA me for now.
David. Thank you.
I
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's easy for me.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to.
Just because it's easy for you doesn't mean
doesn't mean I need to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone. Did you hear that?
It is easy for me, but it is not me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another. Gosh, we could talk about so many things, but this feels good to complete here.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
So full permission, everybody. Yeah, let's go eat some chips, get some Twinkies, watch some Netflix, maybe some Hulu. Sorry to cut you off at the same time.
I was gonna say we end every episode, and I feel like I say like I'm hungry, but we do it after our calls.
Yeah, we do it before dinner. Yeah.
But the sky is blue and the sun is out. It had been raining all day, so this is awesome.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
I love Seattle.
Right, let's go get some eats.
Okay.
All right, everyone. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye, Second Paradigm livers.
Bye.
Wake up to this grounded existence, led by soul where the world stands witness.
In my mind, I'm all alone, stuck in time, but in my soul, I always know I